The Boy Next World Episode 5 launches us back into the rain with CIR running to Fu's room to be engulfed in a hug by his sick boy. As Fu rants tiredly about his illness, Cirrus shuts him up with a kiss. As things heat up, CIR stops himself, wanting Fu to eat and take medicine. But he soon realizes it's too late to stop now. Later, CIR reminds Fukin to let him know if he's unwell. He doesn't have to rely on only himself anymore. Unable to resist, Fu asks whether he can take care of him forever, but then quickly retracts it. Instead, he asks him to stay the night. The next morning, Cirrus wakes to Fu's kisses, feeling confused. But this Fu isn't ill, and angrily wants to know what he's done with his CIR. With a sudden headache and what looks like an earthquake, he opens his eyes to a white padded room where he's confronted by another Cirrus. This one wants to know what it feels like to see a different future. He explains they both have their own Fukin, but different paths lead to different futures. He warns him to stop being a coward to get the future he wants. And like that, CIR wakes on the floor in Fu's room. To a sleeping Fu, he apologizes for lying about the parallel world story to get close to him. When back to high school, and CIR recalls listening into Fu's conversation with his friends and the way he defended him against their jealousy. Back then, he'd asked them to befriend Fukin on his behalf. When Fu wakes, he tries to confess his lie, but he can't do it. Meanwhile, Fu reminds himself that he's just a substitute. Dining with his friends, everyone wonders why Cirrus was with Fukin in his room. Achi invited him out of courtesy, but he's also worried about his intentions. Jean, however, listens in on everyone's thoughts, pleased to hear that CIR is only concerned with Fu's well-being. Stepping out to call Vim, CIR gets a scolding for not telling him about meeting his mother. As soon as he heard, he'd been the one to call CIR's brother Zone, who also didn't seem surprised. As he continues to rant about CIR's lack of interest in making friends with others, Jean takes the phone and asks Vim to a movie, but after more shouting, Vim hangs up on him. Jean realizes CIR is keeping his mind quiet, but notes he can't keep silent forever. With this, he tries to convince CIR to help get a date with Vim, otherwise, he'll invite Fu. Deal done. After the others scurry off, Fu wants to hear about CIR's conversation with Vim, leading to more about his family. CIR explains about his parents' divorce and how his mother uses him as a tool to get revenge on his dad. Even with all that, her priority is work over family, so CIR had been ordered to get good grades, always be the best or get a beating. Back then, CIR decided not to want anything, until he met Fu. Surprised, Fu jumps into action, taking CIR out to have fun. After a few failed attempts at a crane machine, Fu gets more coins until CIR finally wins. Even though the prize is small, Fu considers it a badge of honor. Next, they hit the photo booth where CIR has trouble smiling, but they make a good memory. Back on campus, CIR's mother sends a flunky to find out how much it would take for Fu to break up with her son. Flash to high school, where CIR is filling out his application for his mother's approved university. Fu delivers papers to Vim, who can't help but ask where he's planning to go when he graduates. With a smile, CIR dives into his application. We're at the halfway point with only 5 more episodes to go, and secrets are beginning to make sense. This week, we get a hint of Jin's capabilities as he listens into everyone's thoughts, especially pleased to hear Cirrus worry over Fu's illness. The rest of his crowd wonders about their relationship, believing Fu is too naive. We also discover that Cirrus isn't from a parallel universe as he'd let Fukin believe. Instead, he'd made up a story in his head about their relationship. Upon waking in the hospital, he let himself believe it. What gave Cirrus the push to suddenly run to Fu? The strength to defy his mother and pursue a relationship? That remains to be confirmed, but I'm imagining the meeting with his father had a hand in it. The narrative hasn't yet addressed the reason his relationship is an issue, but it looks like we're getting there. Is it because his mother is against a same-sex relationship or a relationship with anyone who would distract him from her goals? Could there be an arranged union in CIR's future? Lots to come, but they're keeping our attention, even with the flipping around in time. With each lead having a friend who knows more than he's letting on, the truth is bound to squelch out in the near future. How are you finding it? Charming or unrealistic? How did you hear about The Boy Next World? Are you a Boss Noel love in the air fan, or is finding this drama a happy accident? Let us know your thoughts on this drama in the comments below. If you love them, check out our interview story where the guys talk about the intensity of creating the drama, working together, and upcoming projects.